Hello, YouTube. Happy Monday. How y'all doing today? Let me see if somebody come in first. Well, we have to go with what is currently trending. So you guys have given me my story for today. Hi, Erica, Teresa Hopkins, RJ Supreme. Hey, people. Well, I see people are talking about these this woman, what's her name? B. Simone. Now, I first heard that name a week ago because you guys were in an uproar because the woman said that she did not want to date nobody, no 9-to-5ers. Now, I don't know if that was part of her book. Hold on one second. I'm just going to get the light out of my eyes. All right. I don't know if that was part of her book or just a statement she had made in an interview or something. But I had never heard of her before then, right? So now here we are a week later, and there's controversy. It's not even really a controversy. This woman is guilty of plagiarism. Okay, so B. Simone, I guess she is a YouTuber. What's the other one? Facebook and Instagram. Sort of, I guess you call them celebrities. I don't know. She's an online personality, put it like that. She also has a beauty line of lipsticks and perfumes and cosmetics, things like that, as far as I can tell. This is a person who would be much more interesting to a young person, young girls. It seems to be her audience. So it doesn't surprise me that she thought she could get away with this thing. Her audience are mostly, from what I can see, teenage girls, right? So this woman has made herself a book. Her name is on the title. She is the author of the book, according to the title, right? I'm getting scabies. The hell is this? Lord. She did put this book together. I won't say she wrote a book because when I wasn't even going to mess with this thing until I saw the blatant plagiarism in it. So someone was showing the book up. First of all, the book is not a book. The book is a pamphlet. It is a pamphlet. I don't know if that book measures more than 50 pages. And it's got wide pages like a magazine. This is a self-published project, obviously. I don't think anybody would publish this thing. But she claims to have her team, who she's blaming now on this plagiarism. Now, if you're going to be a life coach and you're going to be telling people about manifestations and how to manifest your life and how you've done it so successfully, I would think you would have something to do with the material inside the book. Right? But as I said, this is for young people. They are still they're probably getting out of high school, getting out of grade school, whatever, and trying to build their lives. So she saw an open market here. But when I saw that book, pamphlet, you people shouldn't be allowed to call everything a book. It's a pamphlet. It looks like a scrapbook. The inside pages, I don't see a whole bunch of writing in there at all by anybody. It's a bunch of copy and paste. She's copying and paste, and the things that she's accused of plagiarizing, she hasn't even taken time to write that in the book. It's just like she just took and just pasted in the book. She's taking a whole bunch of pictures, copy and paste in the book. It's a scrapbook. This is a book that could have been done in a day or two, right? And the maddening part about this thing, part I find so interesting, I've seen this over and over again, is this book sells for $35. $35. What did the Stephen King book sell for? It ain't no $35, honey, unless it's a collectible hardcover. People, to thine own self be true. This woman is caught red-handed stealing these people's property. I don't see how you go work on a book a book is an intensive project, right? It's something you have to sit down and do. This woman copied and pasted a couple of things together, and she's claiming now that she didn't even look at it. She just handed it off to her other people. How are you going to hand it off to your team when you're the one that's supposed to be showing people how to manifest their destiny? That's the whole subject of the project, right? Anyway, it's offensive because it's, first of all, because it's $35. $35 for a book that big. My book, 420 pages. 3 years in the making. What does it sell for? That one, is it $18, something like that? How the hell is your book worth twice as much? And you're just a little slither of a page. Anyway, so I saw the apology thing today. Miss B. Simone, I have some advice for you. First of all, you don't have no case. The things that are copy and paste directly, word for word, out of someone else's work. You need to contact those people. You need to contact them with paperwork showing exactly how much money you have made from that book. They say you have a big audience. I saw maybe 500,000 followers she has on YouTube. People say she has millions on Instagram. I don't know, but she has an audience. Looks like mostly young girls. You need to contact those people, those content creators, people on here making, $50, $60 a week. You need to contact those people with the information about how much you made on that book. And you need to either split with them if they're willing to do that, or offer to give them that money so your ass don't end up in court. You don't have a case. Word for word. I mean, just number the exact same, space the exact same. Is just copy and paste. You rip those people off for their content, and it's wrong, lady. So, how you guys doing? Oh, you like my book, Blue Skies? Thank you. Yeah, I mean, books are labor intensive. They're intensive, honey. You got to sit down there and really put that thing together. And it takes sometimes years. And some people say, well, I don't want to spend no years on a book. I got a great idea. You guys, can you put me a book together? Couldn't have took very long, honey. It's not even the width of a magazine. Why are you calling that a book for? Anyway, then she got these great big old pictures of things. Pictures of her she's taken with celebrities and things like that, sexy pictures and all that kind of stuff. And it's a scrapbook, pictures of a scrapbook. So no, I don't got to know who you are, Miss B. Simone, but it makes people question. Let me see. If you have plagiarized this book so blatantly, what does that say about your cosmetics? I'm just asking. What does that say about your cosmetics? You're a young woman. Are we to believe that you've actually developed new, fresh cosmetics after this fiasco? I'm just telling you. My guess would be you ain't went into no development about no damn whatever. Okay, let me not turn into a hate session, right? My advice to you, woman: contact the people who you plagiarize. Tell them we can keep the book on the market. I will give you credit added to those books, or just pay you off and be done with it. Don't drag this thing out, girl. Don't drag this out to where you find yourself in court spending 8-9 times what you have to give them on lawyers. Right? This is an L you got to take. So there's not even any writing in it. It's silly. You just had an idea. This is just a publicity stunt. And you've gotten caught with your drawers down. So other writers on here on YouTube especially, writing takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to put a book together. At the end of that time, you're going to want a payday, right? And the payday doesn't always come. That's why a lot of people are not writing books these days. I know. I wrote a whole lot. I wrote 5 books. 5 books. With the exception of 2 disappointing results. A lot of work. Hours and hours and hours and hours of work put into there. But they were my projects. Those were my children, my books. Put time in. They were mine. I put my name on them because they were mine. Don't just go and have an idea. Oh, a book will sell because I have so many subscribers. My book will sell to the young girls. Don't have such contempt for those young girls, honey. People who are following you. Don't have such contempt for them that you're willing to put a magazine in front of them and tell them it costs $35. These are people, young people, still in high school, saving their allowance, saving their Burger King money. Be quiet, boy. Cap. Saving their money they're making in the mall, all to give you a book, the money for this fabrication. It's not a book. Don't call it that. Right? What was I talking about? I'm lost. Baby, I can't concentrate if you keep barking. Do you understand English? What was I saying? To take advantage of these people. Yes, maybe a manifestation book might be a good idea. But if you're not going to sit down and actually do it, you ain't got to do it all at one time. You can just do it. This is a long-term goal to finish this project, right? But don't just go and say, I got a good idea, and then go make it happen like in a week. That's just a money grab, honey. And you have damaged your reputation. Now, I'll tell you one thing, Miss B. Simone, I don't know you, so maybe you're a nice person. I don't know. One thing has come from this. Before 6 o'clock this morning, I had never heard of B. Simone. I never you made the connection between you being this person talking about you don't want to date 9-to-5er, which is perfectly fine to me. If you don't want to date that kind of man, you want to. I mean, some people want to marry doctors, some want to marry lawyers, some want to marry entrepreneurs. That's your business. But the thing is, here we are talking about you and why. That's the only thing that came good out of this thing. Now they're going to know the name B. Simone, which I'd imagine is your goal anyway. So now you got to turn this negative into a positive. First of all, you got to get these people who you plagiarize. You got to either get their stuff out of your book before you republish. As they said, she's taking it off the market. You got to get their stuff, their material out of there and redo it again. Take the book off the market and do it and try to put it back together. I doubt anybody's going to buy it after that. You're going to have to pay them off from whatever profits you made. Could be substantial since you're charging so much for it. And these are young girls, you know. You're going to have to do that. And then you're going to have to realize this, consider it a publicity stunt. People know me who never heard of me before. Maybe some came to my channel. Write it off and forget about this whole book deal. Later on, when you've lived a little more, then you can tackle writing a book if you want to. They're becoming less and less popular. So I don't know. I don't know why I feel like I should say something about this thing. These get rich quick schemes people have online and so forth. Writers usually usually resent that because they know how much work they put into their projects and seen them go nowhere. And they say this person just comes out of here and just zip, make all this money on the damn thing. It's not even a book. So we always have something to say about it. The book part fell when she showed it online. Child, when somebody showed it, I had to even determine I would talk about this guy. I didn't know who the hell this woman was. And somebody showed that book online and they start opening them pages up. I said, well, damn, nothing's even written in there. It's all copy and paste. Bunch of pictures she got off the internet somewhere. My manifestation page. So she takes a picture of a Mercedes and a picture of some movie star, and she put all these pictures together, and that's that page. So that page was 5 minutes. This was epic fail, Ms. B. Simone. Your audience may forgive you after a while. You apologize, you pay them people off, and then just go to sleep for a while. Go to a trip, spend some of that money you made, and go to Paris, and then come back fresh after they've let this thing die down. Because I don't see how you have a leg to stand on. That book was pitiful. It was pitiful. The book looked like something that a high school junior had put together. This is her project. Thank you. Thank you, Valti7. Hi, what is your advice on writing a book? I would like to write one. God bless you. Yep. If you're going to write fiction or nonfiction, Vitasi, I am the worst person in the world for names, reading names, even if you're American or wherever you're from. My advice, if you want to write a book, if you want to write nonfiction, it's hard when you are still a young person, unless some incident has happened, unless you've been kidnapped or something like that. Don't make up a story. Usually people write autobiographies or memoirs as they get older, as they've lived some, experiences. So that's very hard to do when you're a very young person, unless you want to write to people who are younger than yourself. But my advice about writing a book, it all comes down to one thing, and the thing I struggle with even today: you have to sit down and you have to write. That's it. That's the end of it, honey. You have to write. Now, even if the pages never get published, the pages never make it into the book, after you begin writing, the story will come out of your writing. A lot of it may get trashed, whatever, but as long as you're writing every day, you will come up with the story. It's been my experience. I say get yourself a good program like Word. Figure out what time you write best. Like for me, it was early in the morning, first thing when I get up. Yours might be in the middle of the afternoon. If you're in school, in your study hall, whatever, figure out what the best time that you write, and then sit down there and write at least an hour every day. Just do it every day. That is how you produce a book. If you only come up with one line in that day, you're still moving in a direction. If you ain't so intimidated that you don't sit down until you got a good idea, the book never gets written. That's my first advice. Do it on Word. If you're going to be a self-published author, which a lot of people are doing these days, frankly, because the book industry just isn't what it used to be. So you're better off to do it by yourself. You can do it for free. It's not going to cost you any money. If you're going to self-publish the book, my brain is not clear today. Get it on like a Word program, because when you go to publish the book, and I would recommend you use Amazon companies like CreateSpace for the hardcover book, or KDP for the ebook. All they're going to ask you for basically is a file, which is the whole book on one file, which you can do that on Word, and a cover. You can create the cover right there. They'll give you some options for the wording and all that kind of stuff. You can buy the picture off online. There's a company called Fiverr. They'll help you to develop a cover. Cover you spend 1 or 2 days on, and that's your book. But the main thing is you've got to write the book. See, the whole thing works. You can go in there and just do a couple of scribbly lines and then push download the book and then download the cover, but there's nothing in it, right? So the work has to happen first. Get it on Word. I think that's important, to get it all in one place. Because if you start writing notes, longhand writing notes here and there, and you got some on your computer and some in your thing, it's going to take you a long time to get it all on one document. That is essential. After you get it all on one document, prepare to download it. They're going to give you all kind of options where you have to have it. When you give them that document that you're going to download, which takes maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes, it's going to have to already be edited and I'm struggling, people. Edited and God damn, my mind is not working today. Whatever. Get you an editor and get you a, what do they call it? The person, what do you call it when they check the shit out? Y'all ain't 62 yet. Y'all gonna see. Proofreader. See, it comes eventually, but it takes each year it takes longer. Okay. So if you don't have an editor and you don't have a lot of money to spend on an editor, you poured your soul into writing this book, allow yourself a few months, maybe a year, then just find a teacher or friend or relative, somebody who has had some experience with editing something. I used friends of mine who worked as editors in previous lives, and my aunt was a proofreader. She was actually an English teacher who had been taught English for many, many years, right? So that's how I published my first book. But you get all that together, get it in a file, have an idea of what kind of picture you want to use on your cover, and then they'll help you to make a cover. It really is that simple. That's why I say this woman should be in here taking credit for something that she could have done herself. This kind of book, she could have done herself in a week. Right? Okay, people, I'm sorry I wasn't very clear. I just got woke out of bed, so the brain is not working yet. Yes, that's a pamphlet. And the thing is, maybe if this woman wants to have an excuse why that damn book costs so much, because that's the most insulting part of it to me. $35 for that. That book should be $1.99, if that. $2.50. $2.50. That's all that thing is worth. So what you can use as an excuse is when you self-publish a book, and I assume that is self-published, if you put any image in the book, let's say I wrote a whole book, right? Let's say the book is 300 pages. Let's say they're telling me that this book should sell for $4.99. The moment I put one picture in it, one image in it, it goes from $4.99, $14.99 is the suggested retail price. So with her having all these pictures all through this book, all of this copyrighted stuff, that book would cost a lot of money. I mean, it wouldn't cost her anything, but they're going to give her a suggested retail price of a lot of money because it costs the publisher more to do a book, even with one image in it. Now I'm exaggerating when I say one picture, but 2 or 3, whatever. People who do like graphic novels and things like that, it costs a lot more to produce those. So they charge a lot more for them, right? If your book is all print, if it's a real book, if it's all print, then the cost is relatively low. It's no cost to you at all. I want to make my short stories books and ebook. I better start up here. I bet I missed a whole lot of stuff. Let me see. Okay. Okay, thank you. See you, so I can see you smart already. Vashti. Okay, that makes it so much simpler. Thank you so much, Vashti. That's how I pronounce it. Right. So you picked up that your uncle's crazy and he needs help. Okay, let's see what other people are saying here. Thank you, Vashti. Okay. Both of them have pretty faces, fit up attitudes, and that's it. Okay, this is M had summed it up now. She says, because B. Simone is not funny, just like just not hilarious. Both of them have pretty faces, fed up attitudes, and that's it. Okay. Okay. So at least you guys know who these people are. I don't even know who they are, honey. Whatever happened to that just hilarious? She was all over the YouTube for a while. Now I heard somewhere she got some kind of gig. Okay. Yeah, this is a young crowd here. But people, don't spend your money on this, babies, children. You don't have to spend your money on this. Something like this, if you go to beginning authors, you go to Amazon and just put in free authors for whatever your free books for whatever your genre is. If it's YT, young adults, YA is young adults. Whatever it is, you'll find a whole bunch of books on there you can download for free. This is how young authors get started. They got to build an audience. So many times they will give their books away for free. They're not going to go in here trying to get you for $35. Effed up attitudes. She's a cute girl. She's pretty. I saw that. But I would be very suspicious of somebody who comes up with something like this. She was putting little emojis, like y'all got all these little dot emojis and things in the thing. That's all through the book. In the absence of words. It's not a written book. Something I'm telling about you. You done okay? Welcome. You guys, I'm sure you guys have not. You're too mature to have bought these books. Hello there, the Wiley Show. I stole another story from you, I guess. Well, at least I saw your video first, and then I went and saw that apparently a lot of people were making videos about this particular story. So people were interested in it. I guess. Wally, when you gonna start writing? You keep telling us you're gonna write a book, and I've been waiting to hear your progress. Tell us. Now, Wally, you would have a real interesting story. I'm sure you can make it funny, but your issue is you're gonna have to really work on that, telling the truth. Unless you're gonna call it fiction. You want to keep it nonfiction, tell the truth, baby. I'm sorry. We ain't got no problem with the Wiley Show. He did the same thing. I can't say that name. That person you're talking about. Ladybug. I don't know D-Dot who that is. Yeah, she needs to write a real book. She can write a book about becoming a YouTuber, or write a book on how she got so many subscribers, write a book about her life or something. But you have to sit down and write, honey. And writing the books basically really is not a money-making proposition, at least not on your first books. It ain't no, you got to do it out of passion for what you want to communicate. That was just an idea of hers. She didn't even care what she was telling these people, because she knows she's dealing with young girls, and she probably thinks they're not going to think very much about what she puts in front of them. She's taking advantage. You don't need no. It's under development. Is it done, Wally? You don't need a go. Let me tell you my story about the GoFundMe. On my, I know people who watch me probably say, "Is this bitch gonna tell the same story again?" On my third book, I had written a memoir, Myth Monster, and then I had written 2 novels, one big, one small, right? And then on the third novel, I didn't have the kind of people just gave me money to do the other books, right? Pay for editors, pay for to get it published and all that kind of stuff. And they were kind of costly. But on the third one, I didn't have that kind of backup, right? So I said, I'll do a GoFundMe for the editor of this book, for the publishing of this new book. And there's this guy on Facebook. His name is Brooks, King Brooks. And he wrote to me, he said, why are you trying to raise money to publish your book? You don't need to do that. And then he sent me to this websites, CreateSpace and Amazon. So audiobook, the hardcover book, softcover book, and the KDP. They're all 3 Amazon companies, right? Anyway, and what I discovered was it wasn't so much that I could just do this myself. Maybe I didn't have no experience doing it, things like that. What was important for me to learn is how to do it. And when I found out how to do it, I was absolutely amazed, because I had paid these other book companies, over $1,000 each to do the exact same thing that I did on there in 2 days. So don't worry about your editor at all until you're finished with the book, Wally. After you get it finished, then let them go over it. They'll make their change, and then you'll see things that you'll want to change as well. So a lot of times it's in the second writing of the book. After you've both been over it, then you'll make certain corrections. But don't be worrying about the editing. Don't be worried about the publishing. Don't worry about nothing but getting the book done. And you'll know when it's done, the end. And that's when you worry about all this other stuff. It's not as hard as you might think it is. You want to raise money, you don't need money to publish it. But if you want to have a professional editor, or you don't have anybody available to you, then you might want to do that. But let the big book be done before you start talking like that. All that stuff, overthinking, is going to hold you up. You won't get the book done. Finish it first. That's my main advice. Lulu Publishing is good, but they don't edit for free. Lulu don't do nothing for free. Right? I had a friend that did work with Lulu, but I'm telling you guys, Amazon is much, much better. Because what is Lulu doing? They're doing what Amazon does for free. Amazon, they just take their profit out of what you make on the book. If you don't make anything on, you don't get anything. They don't get anything. A lot of times you end up buying your own copies because you want to take them to your church or take them to book readings or whatever kind of thing like that is. But their system is set up to where, because Amazon just wants customers. They want to lock you in as their customer. So if they are publishing your book as well, Even if they don't make a lot of money from you, they still have they have provided a service to their customer, to the people who buy from them. But yeah, Lulu did a okay job on that person's project, but that person had no power over their book after it was done, right? Anytime they wanted to change anything, they had to go in there and pay for it. The paying part is not necessary, people. I did my first 2 books with Author House, over $1,000. Plus, I bought all the books I bought from them. They didn't do anything. That book looks the exact same as the other one. This is the one that I paid for Amazon to do, right? Can you see it? Yeah. Anyway, it's a pretty good sized book. But this is the one that I did on my own on CreateSpace. See that? This is a good book too. It depends on your content. It's not as big. Virtually no difference at all. I could have put that $1,000 and bought me some more lamps. Lulu is print by them. Yeah, they're all print by the man, Lulu. I mean, Behind the Throne. They don't charge until someone orders a copy. Okay. So Lulu doesn't charge you for publishing. All of them will have the option of you using one of their editors and stuff like that. All of them offer services. You don't have to use them, right? But I think Amazon's the best. They're the best at it. They're in the book business, right? That's how they started. Look at my shirt. No, I'm not sweaty. Yes, I am sweaty, actually. Let me open the window. Hold on, peoples. I go through this every damn time. Okay. Yeah, my experience with Amazon was much, much better. I can write a book now. I could publish it in 2 days, but I got to write the book. That's where I'm stuck. I'm still on chapter 3 of that book. I just can't make myself just go sit down there and just start writing. I know that's all it takes. Yeah, Wally, I'm sure you can produce quite a book. And you can include this experience here of becoming a internet sensation. You are creative. Yeah. When I first went to prison, I had never even read a book from cover to cover. Never even read one book. But one thing come out of prison, they will teach you how to read, honey, because you've got nothing else to do. So in prison, I became an avid reader, right? But it was never my plan. Just one day I woke up and I was bored and I just started. For me, God said right. And I sat down and I wrote that book. And I never stopped. I didn't stop for 5 books. So I wrote for 12 years straight. For 12 years, I was identifying myself as an author. That was my thing, right? Before you lovely souls took over my life. Thank you. Vesti. Yeah, your creativity will show up in different ways, you know. Certain things I can do naturally. What's the best children's books? I never read a children's book in my life. But I'll tell you this. Children's books are one of the best sellers on Amazon. You got to base everything on what Amazon sells because there are not even that many bookstores left. There really aren't. I mean, you might have well, you guys know what the books went through in the last few years. Most books are sold on Barnes & Nobles or Amazon, primarily Amazon. So children's books are extremely big sellers because people read books to children. They learn from books. They use books in school, you know. There are some people who just love to read, and I admire them. I admire that you can just take out a couple of hours and just sit quietly and read. But there are so many machines, so many distractions that I haven't been able to do that. When the city was still open, I would listen to my audiobooks on the way to the gym, at the gym, on the way back from the gym, and I can read a book in 3 or 4 days listening to them. Now my struggle is I just can't focus that long. And then I can't just sit in a quiet room and read, right? And then when I try to read books, read myself to sleep at night, which is a good thing. It's a good way to go to sleep. You just start listening to audiobook, right? But when I wake up, hell, I haven't covered any ground. I'm sleeping a page. Maybe some people who read regular books had the same issue. You only read a couple of pages and you sleep. Miss Thang, who is Miss Thang? How is December? You mean the person December? Oh, that must be Michael Todd Robinson. December was a trans woman that I used to live with, and Michael Todd realized that's online. No, I haven't seen her in a long, long time. She moved away. I think she lived over in the Haight. I ran into her one time at the bus stop outside of here. I live basically where, if this is Michael Todd, I live across the street from your old beauty salon, your old hair salon. And her and I lived maybe 2 blocks from there. Thank you, Vasti. I have nice furniture. That's what I really want to do. I want to be an interior decorator. Didn't happen. Well, it happened a little bit. I mean, in my 20s, I did some projects because of my partner's family. They had money. They hired me to do stuff. Yeah, someone wrote about this sector. Yeah, that was the beef sector. What's her name? The Rita Philadelphia. I think she might have even come out with part 2 by now. I don't know. They gave her a hard time too about this price. The pricing of these books, though, is important, people, because nobody wants to feel like they get ripped off, right? They don't want to pay $20 for when all the other books of that size are $2. So I think she says it's going to be a 3-part series. The Read of Philadelphia. You can get that on Amazon as well. Carmen Kaboom. Was that racist woman? I mean, that homophobic girl. All I remember of Carmen Kaboom, I just remember, but the name it's hard. It's an easy name to remember, right? But her and Jason and Justin J were going at it. So I remember the beef. I don't remember her that much. And I remember she would use some colorful language. And she always had nice sunglasses. Okay. D. Dot. Carmen Kaboom's in the hospital? I don't know, lady. I just remember that name. It looked like it wasn't even poorly written. It was poorly copy and paste. And why would you just? I mean, if it's only a few pages, why would you need to? Why would you need to plagiarize just? You only got a few pages there. So you plagiarize even those few pages? It's probably plagiarized the whole damn thing. Then people just haven't caught on yet. She did that in a couple days. She says her team did. Why would you have a team to do something like that? Yep, Justin J. Yeah, I remember her colorful language though. After you show me who you are, honey, you ain't got to show me twice. Peter Berlin, the gay icon. Is he the one that did the all those graphics? Peter Berlin. I've heard the name. Tom, was it Tom? Whatever. I've heard the name. I think he used to do a lot of that erotic gay literature and or be quiet. Posters, pictures, and all that. He was either an artist or an author or both. I remember value of Judge Mathis. Look at my dog. I'm not a good dog trainer, am I? Get your bum over here, you ding ding. You do it. Nobody's ever going to sneak up on me to kill me because he's on top of that door, honey. Let me see. I heard that. And I don't know what the D-Dot controversy is, so I gotta stay out of that. Mm-hmm. What is the end of it? Let me see. Yeah, so if you guys want to just do your own story, people say, well, it's just going to be for me and my family. But as you start doing it, whatever. For me, it was important to just start at the beginning. So I started as a baby. I was born in such and such like that. And then it'll take on its own life after a few pages. But I first told a little bit of the background, where I came from and so forth, issues with my family, stuff like that. By the second chapter, I didn't want to get stuck there, though. I didn't want to go, step by step my whole damn life. So I jumped from there. That was the background. And then I jumped into Los Angeles and my life coming out, being a gay person kind of thing. And that soon led into when I started doing drugs, how I started, what happened, how I got into selling drugs, all the other stuff built from there. But for me, it was important to begin at the beginning. So I was telling a complete story. I could follow it chronologically, right? Yeah, at Meth Monster, it turned out to be a good selling book. When first year I did it, I think I sold 200 books. Most of the people who I knew or knew of me, people from my drug programs, church and all that kind of stuff, local people, family people. And then I probably sold maybe 500 books over the next 2 or 3 years. And then in the last year, I've sold over 3,000 audiobooks, 3,000 books in 1 year. And it took me all the other time, but it was probably a total of 600 books. And it's been around for 10 years. So you never know when things will catch on. Audiobooks are real popular right now, though. You can do that with Amazon as well. Why is she scammed, though? That girl she just came up with an idea. You got to know an idea. Oh, it would be good to publish a book. I can see myself promoting the book. This, I can promote that. It was just a project for her. It was not a labor of love. It was not something that she actually sat down and wrote. Right? And she's paying the price for that. She's learning lessons. All these things that happen, people, scandals and stuff, learn from them. Learn your lessons. But maybe it does benefit her. We all talking about it, right? I had never even heard of her before yesterday. And some people will scam, honey. Some people are looking for a quick buck, and they don't care how they get it. I could mention other names on here, but I won't. Thank you, Wally. You sent me quite a few customers, too. I got reviews on there from some of Wally's people from his book club. We just want to encourage Wally to get busy with his project, though, because he'll just sit down and get it done. Main thing is, I always say, do it on your computer. Do it all in one document. That way you're not going to be spending the next few years talking about, oh, I need somebody to look over this. I need somebody to do that. I need somebody. No, honey. Get it all in the document. Get yourself step one, then get you an editor to start working with it with you, and then worry about the publishing. Don't do them all together, or you won't get anywhere. You won't get it done. Meth Monster took a year and a half to write, and then maybe it took a year to write, then a year to edit, a year to write, a half a year to edit and proofread, right? Then the next book took 3.5 years to write because I only had access to an editor for 1 hour a week. And what we were doing was I would finish a paragraph, and he would, while he was editing the first part of the book, I was still writing the back part of it, right? And then I had to wait for like a year, over a year of just letting him loose in my apartment to work on the editing while I went to the gym or something. Anyway, so the editing took, no, okay. So on that book, it was a year and a half to actually write the book, and then 2 years to edit it and publish it. So that was a 3.5-year project. But that's the big book, Love and Gospel Music. That's a great book, though. I mean, if you get into it, it's a great book. And all the other ones they're just continuations of that story. So at some point, I felt like I was finished with the story. But then I started, when I was writing all the time, I was going one after another, right? So I had started this one and got into like chapter 2 is what I'm working on now. And now in the last couple of months, I got another chapter done, but it's like dragging. It's like pulling the story out, you know. So you got to have a little fire, a little passion behind it. Where is Wally? Is Wally still in here? Maybe I can get him motivated. Because Wally, it does benefit to have a reader. I don't think he's still here, but if he needs a reader, I'll be willing to do that. Just to give him my opinion on it as he's going along, you know. Oh yeah, that's all kind of software with editing. You got to go through all that, and you still need a physical editor, in my opinion. An editor is very important because they're going to miss some things. They're going to say, you know, your mother had red hair in chapter 1. Now she's been fighting cancer and she's bald for chapter 3. What happened? Whatever. Stuff like that, you know. I thought you said you went to this place and you went to that place. I thought that guy's name was such and such. Here in chapter 2, his name was such and such. And now in chapter 8, he's got a whole different name, a whole different personality. It has to be a consistent book. Now, you need someone else to do that for you. No matter how good a writer you are, you still need a person to go through there with another person's eyes, different eyes. And then the proofreader, all they're doing is checking for typos. And the typos are the things that get us embarrassed. You still here, Wally? Wally, if you actually have started the book, I don't know where you're at or anything like that, but if you want some help or you want somebody to read with you, then you can send me that. I promise you I'm not going to sell it or plagiarize your story. I prefer my own. Thank you. I stay ready. Mm-hmm. See, back in the old days, like in the 50s, writers were big people. They were huge people, right? Because we didn't have all this other stuff. We didn't have, 600 channels. We didn't have, Netflix. We didn't have cable. And we didn't have all this stuff. All these distractions. Now people, if you can't tell a story in 15 minutes, they get bored, So maybe now like novels are not as popular as they were. Some people love to read. A lot of women love to read. Those are the biggest readers, kind of thing. But people are not reading like they were even 20 years ago, 15 years ago. What attests is that you can see how few bookstores there are left. So it's got to be something you really wanted to do. The Wiley Show. What do you mean LLLOK? Are you going to send a manuscript? Is there a manuscript, Wiley? If you want to send me your manuscript, I'll put down my my email on here. Okay, charge a fee. I don't charge for writing stuff. None of my editors, they didn't charge me. They were just friends of mine. And a couple of them could have charged me because that's what they. The first one, his job was editor of the local gay paper here, and he did it for free. So if I can help somebody out in that way, I don't see it as a money thing. I'm not a professional editor or anything like that. I can go in and say I'm lost in the story. I can say, it's not clear. You're jambling the story, stuff like that. Oh, there is some good news finally. We need some good news every once in a while. The Supreme Court has now decided that you cannot fire a person because they're gay. And if you do decide to go ahead and fire them anyway, they can sue your ass. It should have always been that way. You fire a person because they're gay. They're going to find ways. If you're a transgender person, you come in there, they're going to find some excuse not to hire you and so forth. But it shouldn't be. Look at me, I'm sweating. I got to go change my shirt because my experiences here on YouTube, if you have sweat under your underarm or something like that, they will screenshot that and terrorize you with it. It's just that it's warm, people. We can still keep talking. Camera screening. Okay, ding ding. Little friend. Isn't it cute that your dog follows you everywhere you go? Now I sit here, he'll post up with his toys underneath here. When I go to the bathroom, I say, turn your head, boy. Man's best friend. People are always judging. Well, that's what people are, honey. Oh, I was talking about, yeah. So the Supreme Court has passed the law now. You cannot fire somebody because they're gay. Because some people go in there, I don't believe in that. How the hell are you going to believe in somebody else's sexuality, honey? It's like I say, I don't believe in you. Oh, yeah, but it's normal. No, honey. You don't believe in me and I don't believe in you. The hell is that? You can't fire somebody for that. That's what it's saying. Yes, you can sue. I suspect that more laws are coming down about these being able to sue these cops too. I didn't realize this, that in many states you can't sue the police. Can't sue the city hall. Well, that's got to change. You think Floyd's family's not entitled to monetary money for what they did to that man? They murdered him in front of witnesses. That thing is now is even more hard to look at, especially the Floyd. I know this one just happened a couple of days ago. It's hard to watch anybody killed. But that George Floyd thing, that is hard. It's more hard to watch for me now because we hear this guy on the sideline begging this cop. He is begging him, saying that he's no longer breathing. Where is his pulse? And that man did not move one iota. He sat there and intentionally murdered him. Even after the man told him he is dead. He is no longer breathing, no pulse. He did not remove his knee from that man's neck. Straight up murder. Then he got more video of the second guy. And what's his name? I don't have my paperwork with me. The guy at Wendy's. Now, they were getting along. The cop wasn't even mean to him or rude to him or anything. And the man was saying, listen, he was rational because he said, listen, I'll leave my car here. I just live 2 blocks away. My sister lives 2 blocks away. I can walk home from here. But by that time, they didn't start doing a background check and all that. They may come up with there was something in that man's background, a reason why he would not go to jail. He felt like he could not go to jail. That may be. Because what we heard from them, they were still communicating up until the very second that he clicked them handcuffs on him. See, when they put the handcuffs on, you know it's over, right? Me, I was a speed freak, all wild, you know how all this kind of shit. Soon as they put the handcuffs on, I was asleep. It was over. I'm going to jail. So that was hard to watch. Didn't have to happen. If only they would let that man just walk home. Main thing is they don't want you on the road drunk, right? So if he parked the car, and he did park the car himself, if he parked the car and said he was willing to walk home, they could have just let it go. But no, when they start with those background checks and all that kind of stuff, warrants and stuff like that, turned into be another death. I can't deal with much more of these people. These people are killing these people while they're protesting. They're just protesting down the road about police killings. What were we talking about? Rayshard Brooks. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, all those families should benefit. I think you done killed somebody, took their life, took their livelihood of that person. Who's going to take the place of the father for the child? You should have to come up and fill that gap, the rearing of the child, all the way through school, all the way through to their out of college. Killing people has got to mean something to these cops. I mean, it's got to mean something. That's why that dude, that other one from whatever, the other one has to go to jail. These cops have got to know that if I kill somebody, I'm going to go to prison, just like the rest of these people. If they feel like they can get off, I mean, what's the deterrent? If it don't cost them their career, if it don't cost them their money, if it don't cost them their freedom, why not kill them? It's got to be examples. Ain't this been a year? God damn. 2020. Hasn't this been a year so far? And we get in there, we're like halfway through the year. We didn't got this corona almost starting from the very first day. Protests all over the whole country. We got people dead. Pray for Atlanta. I hope that this thing does not harm Atlanta, where they're going to be getting into more violent confrontations. You know, I'm concerned. I'm concerned that they don't start burning shit up. I guess because they've been able to get away with it. If they can't get away with it, they won't do it. Right? Y'all women know that's the only reason y'all ain't killed your husband. Girl, if I can get away with it. You can't get away with it, you won't do it. It makes you think. I hope not, sunflowers. Race, civil war. Then you're going to have racists that are going to be inserting themselves because they really want to escalate the violence. We got to be on. So far, that hasn't happened. It hasn't become a big race war, a race issue. It's like the whole country agrees that this shouldn't happen. This shouldn't keep happening. And then right when you're saying it shouldn't happen, it happens down the street. Right when you're in the protests. Hey, Terrell Davis from Denver. I got a friend from there. Denver, Colorado. They need consequences. That's right. And it needs to be big where everybody knows about it. Right? But that didn't stop them cops from pushing that old man to the ground. They didn't give a damn. They just kept on going. You would think they would be at least sensitive to know we got to check on this man, make sure he's okay, just for appearance's sake. They didn't give a damn. We demand. Demand black officers in black communities. Absolutely. There should be, if your ratio, if you got 13% blacks on the street, live in that state, then it should be 13% blacks working on the force. More in the neighborhoods they serve. Shouldn't be 1% black officers. Shouldn't have a White House like Trump with just Uncle Ben is the only one there. I always catch the replays. I like to be able to go back and forth. Yeah, that's the sad thing right there, sunflowers. I've known, you know, I've dealt with a lot of cops. Sometimes the black cop will treat you worse than the other white cops that are there because they want to try to prove that he's one of them. They're not showing favoritism. So they'll stick that damn stick in your gut more. There's bad cops come in all colors, honey. I do remember that. I remember one time I was stuck. I ain't gonna tell that story. I gotta watch out from these drunkalogs and these high-logs. But yeah, I've been treated sometimes by just cops with big egos. They think they're somebody kind of thing, and they're showing off with other officers or whatever. One time I had a police in LA. This guy had to be 23, 24 years old, just a young kid. Anyway, he was nice to me. Now, in the rule in jail, you ain't supposed to be talking to no cops. You ain't never supposed to be friendly with them, right? But he was a young guy. I was a young guy. We got friendly. The next day I came out to lunch. We were talking, laughing, joking together. Inmates are always going to give you a hard time about that, right? But maybe after I was talking to this guy, he was on my roll. We were making jokes. 2 days later, he came back. I smiled at that dude. He said, "Don't be looking at me like that. Get against the wall." He had to show him whose side he was on. All right, people. So don't plagiarize is the point. Now, many writers, while they're writing, they won't read other people's books in the same genre. Because when I think Anne Rice was talking about this. If I'm writing some fiction story, right? Let's say about a black family, something like a Terry McMillan type book, whatever. I'm not going to read anything in that genre while I'm writing, because those things that you're hearing in that and from what you're reading could translate to your work, and it's plagiarism. Considered plagiarism. If it's word for word, it's definitely plagiarism, right? But you don't want to ruin your book just because you were taking in other information at the same time, right? So I think that's the lesson for this girl. She probably got more publicity out of this thing than she would have sold in books anyway. My advice to you, woman, Ms. B. Simone, contact those people that you plagiarize, offer to make a deal with them. If they don't want a deal, take down that book forever and pay them what they feel like they should have gotten from your profits. Write it off and let people forget about it, honey. It's too blatant. I mean, the people had written in columns what their I don't know what their dream list was, whatever. They put them side by side. It's the exact same page. It wasn't even copied. I mean, it was copied by a machine. It was just copy and paste. It's bad. All right, people, be safe. We didn't talk about Corona, but I hope everybody is still healthy. There are numbers in these places that are protesting. These numbers are going up. They have went up. So be as safe best you can. Stay inside. Later.